Gelap
Gelap ya? Ni sebab saya rasa lampu saya dekat belakang kot.
Boleh bawa lampu tu dekat depan doktor.
Gelap sangat ya. Okey, sekejap.
Hello, is my connection okay?
Yes.
Oh, still dark lah. Is it okay? Okay lah kot eh. I need to share slides later. Is that okay?
Boleh. Ya.
Hai doktor.
Hi, Ellie. How are you, Ellie?
Sehat-sehat.
Sihat ya. So looking forward for the internship.
Yes doktor. Bolehlah.
Almost finish ya.
Ya ni tak habis lagi doktor.
Sikit lagi.
Hi Miss Malaysia and Miss Charlene.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening.
Please be nice to me.
Yeah, they need to be kind to us.
Okay, I want to tell something. We're gonna start the program on 8:30 p.m. Okay. Okay. Good luck semua. Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera Malaysia and mabuhay Philippines. Welcome to the International Child Mental Health Forum program. I am Hazim Aminuddin, your MC for tonight's program. First of all, congratulations and thank you to all the audience who are joining us tonight. We will start our forum very soon. Dear viewers, while waiting for this program to begin, do not forget to press the like, share, and comment buttons on this YouTube live video and follow our social media at 𝗓𝗡𝗥𝗡𝗡𝗦 to support and spread this good news. I hope everyone can stay with us until the end of this forum. Attendance records for merit purposes will be displayed at the end of this forum. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sejahtera and good evening. Greetings to Associate Professor Dr. Nur Syamila Zakaria, Head of Department of Counselor Education and Counseling Psychology, Universiti Putra Malaysia, Dr. Asma binti Ismail, Senior Lecturer, Department of Counselor Education and Counseling Psychology, Universiti Putra Malaysia, Miss Melissa Lin, as Speaker and Director at YANA Malaysia, You Are Not Alone, Southeast Asia Mental Health Initiative. Ms. Charlene Canles, Director at YANA Philippines, You Are Not Alone, Southeast Asia Mental Health Initiative. Mr. Justin Anak-Jarab, Program Director, International Forum Child Mental Health, Advisory Line, and Executive Committee of Kelab Mahasiswa Bimbingan dan Counselling, Session 2021-2022, students and fellow audience who are with us tonight. Praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, we have been graced by the chance to gather in this momentous forum, which is International Forum Child Mental Health. Ladies and gentlemen, to bless our forum tonight, let us begin with the recitation of dua that will be led by Jasriman Hassan. With our respect, welcome.
A'udzubillahiminasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Ya Karim ya Wadud, sesungguhnya kami berhimpun pada hari ini bagi menyatakan kesyukuran di atas kurniaan-Mu yang tidak ternilai. Jadikanlah kami hamba-hamba-Mu yang sentiasa bersyukur, sama ada nikmat yang sedikit, lebih-lebih lagi nikmat yang melimpah ruah kepada kami. Ya Allah, ya Rahman, ya Rahim. Engkau berkatilah dan rahmatilah perjalanan program International Forum Child Mental Health. Sesungguhnya Engkau Maha mengetahui bahawa kami di sini ingin menimba ilmu-Mu yang sangat luas bagi mengembangkan ilmu pengetahuan kami sebagai hamba-Mu yang Engkau redai. Justru berkati dan rahmatilah perhimpunan kami ini, kurniakanlah kepada kami ilmu-Mu, sinarilah hati-hati kami dengan cahaya dan hidayah-Mu. Semoga dengannya kami mudah menerima dan menghayati serta mengamalkannya. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram, kurniakanlah jua kepada kami kesihatan anggota, kecergasan minda, ketenangan jiwa, kekuatan semangat. Semoga dengannya kami mampu mendepani cabaran, berdaya saing dan mampu mengangkat martabat diri, keluarga, masyarakat dan negara. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Sallallahu alaihi sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin rabbana.
Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you to Jasriman Hassan for the recitation of dua just now. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's program will be continued again with a welcome speech from our program director Justin Anak-Jarab. With all respect, welcome.
Hi everyone, salam sejahtera Malaysia and mabuhay Philippines. Greetings to Officers Universiti Putra Malaysia. Panel's International Forum on Children's Mental Health, Executive Committee member, International Forum on Children's Mental Health, and the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, children's emotional well-being is just as important as their physical health. Good mental health helps them develop the resilience and to cope with whatever life throws at them and grow into well-rounded, healthy adults. Most of our people today are not very knowledgeable about the mental health of children in daily life. In fact, some take it too lightly and neglect their mental health, especially during this pandemic season. However, with this program, it is possible to spread an understanding of the importance of maintaining children's mental health. I believe that the sharing from our invitation panel positive impact on all of us, especially on our children's mental health. International Forum on Children's Mental Health is a forum that can provide us with various benefits. This forum aims to increase the committee's understanding to play an important role in ensuring the mental health of children, raising public awareness of the importance of children's mental health, improving society's perception and reducing the negative stigma of children's mental health. To end my speech tonight, I would like to thank our committee members, panel, and everyone for joining our International Forum on Children's Mental Health. Therefore, I hope that through this program, we will be more aware of our children's mental health. A child's mental health is just as important as their physical health. That's all from me. Thank you, and I will pass the floor to our MC, Mr. Hazim Aminuddin.
Thank you to our program director, Justin Anak Jerab, for all of your efforts in making this program a success. Well, to enliven our forum tonight, let's watch a special video prepared by our student, 𝗚𝗚𝗚𝗏𝗏 Khairuddin. Without further delay, welcome.
Jaga-jaga ada mata-mata yang hati tak tenang tengok orang menang. Cuba nak ubah cuma perlu satu. Cuba cermin rupa cuma ada aku. Tak hirau walaupun tak laju. Janji bukan wow yang putus teraju. Saya tak boleh entahlah toleh dalam pandang remeh. Dipisah di hati tak betul dah. Telah tadi kata tak boleh tarik. Perlahan dayung sampai ke hujung. Tengah disanjung kado naik junjung. Sampai ke ujung, janganlah sanjung.
Thank you, Khairun, for the amazing performance just now. Ladies and gentlemen, before the forum session begins, let me give you a little enlightenment about the flow of our program for tonight. Tonight's sharing and discussion will give an introduction to the fellow audience regarding the disclosure to students on the mental health of children. In addition, this program also aims to increase the community's understanding, also to increase the community's understanding to play an important role in ensuring the mental health of children. Thus, it is well believed that this forum will provide beneficial knowledge for us to know in depth. Therefore, without further delay, I hereby invite and welcome our moderator for tonight, 𝗂𝗛𝗜𝗟𝗏𝗡, to conduct a discussion session with our invited panel. With our respect, welcome.
Thank you, Hazim. Salam sejahtera, salam tabibasa Malaysia, dan Mabuhay, Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank my friend for being a great host tonight. All right, now it's my turn to handle our sharing session. So we will continue our program by inviting our amazing line of panels. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Asma binti Ismail is a senior lecturer of the Department of Counselor Education and Counseling Psychology, University Putra, Malaysia. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Abby.
Okay, so next we have Miss Melissa Lin, who is a TEDx speaker and director at IANA Malaysia, also known as You Are Not Alone, Southeast Asia Mental Health Initiative. Hi, Miss Melissa.
Good evening. Hi.
Okay, and last but not least, we have Miss Charlene Canless, who is a director at IANA Philippines, Southeast Asia Mental Health Initiative. Hi, Miss Charlene.
Hello, good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, so I think the audience can all agree with me if I say that our three ladies here are not only stylish, but they also have the credibility that coincides with the goal of our program, right? So to all the audience, I am 𝗂𝗛𝗟𝗏𝗡, your moderator for tonight's forum. We have already acquainted ourselves with the panels, so what are we waiting for? Let's start our International Forum Child Mental Health session tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, our session will be conducted according to a two-round forum format. If you have any concerns or inquiry during the discussion, please leave a question in the comment section during this program. Our committee members will pick your question and we will ask our invited panels during the question and answer session. All right, without further ado, I will start the first question, which will be answered by Dr. Asma. So, Doctor, are you ready, Doctor?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so the first question sounds like this. Undoubtedly, apart from teenagers, adults, and the elderly, children are also not left behind from suffering from mental health problems, such as disruptive mood dysregulation disorder, also known as DMDD. So what causes a child to experience mental health issues? So I'll pass this question to Dr. Asma.
Okay, thank you, Abby. Very good evening to everyone. I'm really happy to be here, and it's really nice to see all these young faces organizing such a very important topic for today. Okay, I would like to share slides. Is that okay, Abby?
Yeah, sure, Doctor. You can share the slides.
Okay. Okay, for the information, I'm not an expert in this topic. Okay, but I would like to share what I know. Yeah, I've read some journals on the topic, and if whatever what I'm going to explain is inadequate or is inaccurate, okay, please alert me. Okay, I'm not the expert like I mentioned, so I'm welcome for sharing from the audience. Okay. So these are some of the slides that I have kind of pulled together. Okay, so this is the first slide, the topic of tonight. Okay, these are some of the faces of children, happy children to be born and to live and to enjoy their life in this world. Okay, we have people, smiling, running, being together, okay, form a teamwork, enjoying their days. Okay, and then we have another picture here. Okay, a big question mark. What is happening to me? Question raised by children around the world. Okay. I think all these images are not that, like so much like we are not familiar. We are quite familiar with them. We see all these pictures in the newspaper, on YouTube, on other news channel as well. Okay, so what is mental health? Okay, let me move this around a little bit. Okay, mental health is the condition of being sound mentally and emotionally. It's been characterized by, the absence of mental illness. Usually somebody who is mentally healthy, they feel comfortable about themselves, positive about their relationship with other people, and they have this ability to meet the demand of the daily life. In other words, they are able, okay, to combat the stress or the effect of stress. Okay, these are some of the characteristics. Mentally healthy child, they are usually happy and cheerful. They feel secure and protected, feel loved, confident, optimistic, and emotionally stable. And they have this ability to bounce back, or what we call self-resilient. Mentally unhealthy child, usually they are more sad, worried, feel anxious, they feel neglected or rejected, they lack confidence, pessimistic about their future, about this world. Okay, they lack emotional regulation and easily give up. Okay, so these are some of the statistics from the CDC. It shows that among children, most of the time they have ADHD problem, behavior problem, anxiety, and depression. In depression and anxiety usually occur together. Depression and anxiety occur alongside behavior problem. So I have some of the information here, about like when is the time that some of these mental health issue occurs in the children's life. Okay, so among boys and girls, boys are more likely than girls to have behavioral issues, and underprivileged children can be more susceptible to the development of mental health condition, either in childhood or later in life. Okay, what are the causes? It's quite difficult to pinpoint what is the one cause to mental illness in children. Okay, because most of the time the causes are quite complex, they are multifaceted and unknown. Okay, but there is no single cause of mental illness, but many factors may cause a child to develop these conditions. Okay, so to be more specific, what would be the causes? Okay, it could be the biological factors, for example, genes or brain chemistry, life experience such as trauma or abuse, or family history of mental health problems. Okay, so these biological factors can affect children, especially if, children with parents who are struggling with mental illness, may be more likely to develop an illness themselves due to genetic factors. Research have shown that autism, ADHD, bipolar disorder, major depression, and schizophrenia may be related to genetic factors. Okay, and then in terms of biology and brain structure, there could be some brain chemical imbalance that could cause mental illness. But this chemical imbalance could be triggered by stress, disease, or trauma. There are some of the chemicals that can cause some emotional imbalance in children. But with certain medication, this brain imbalance can be overcome. Okay, what could be some of the life experience or psychological or physical trauma experienced by children that make them, susceptible to trauma, to mental illness. Okay, here what it means by trauma could be the distressing or disturbing experience or emotional shock experienced by the child. Okay, and this trauma can be a significant catalyst for the development of mental health disorder or illness. But the problem is to identify which trauma affect the child. This could be really difficult. Okay, sometimes the death of a significant others can be a traumatic experience to one child, but it may not be for another child. Okay, trauma can be verbal. For example, like bullying, teasing, or verbal abuse, or emotional, like psychological manipulation, and invalidating emotion or physical. Okay, children may still experience trauma by witnessing violence without being the physical victim of the violent act, meaning that children can see, like parents arguing with each other. One of the parents, shouted or threw things to another parent. Okay, this could be a traumatic experience to a child. Okay, so this is another factor that can cause mental illness in children. This is what we call environmental stress. According to Harvard Health Report, stress can be a major factor that influences the chemical production of the brain as well as the symptom of mental illness, especially depression. It seems like children, they are either, having some mood disorder, or they can develop behavior problem. Stress for children comes from, it could be from school if they are going to school. What happened in school could be in terms of bullying. And this bullying can happen in person, physical, meeting another person, or it can be online, what we call cyberbullying. Okay, stress also can come from family. Parents going through divorce, or marital conflict, or it could be domestic violence that take place in that child's family, or it could be something to do with social, the relationship problem, poor social skills, or communication problems. Children who has poor social skill, that they cannot express themselves, they are socially awkward with other people, they are very shy, normally would feel very stressful and would feel neglected and isolated, or could be rejected by their peers. Okay, and then we have this economy, financial insecurity. Okay, if you were to look at research, it seems that, children born in poor family, okay, will have higher tendency, or higher percentage to develop mental illness. Okay, and then there is another one, physical instability. What does it mean by physical instability? Okay, there are two conditions. Okay, one is related to where the child is living. Okay, it can be the physical setting in which the family resides, the house, the home. Okay, home that is not physically safe or supportive. Okay, there is no appropriate utilities, no safety in the house. The house is not properly, there are, some maintenance need to be done, but maybe because of lack of financial, or lack of maybe assistance, okay, it cannot be taken care of. Like no heat, no electricity, no water, poor sewage disposal. Okay, it could be not so hygienic. Okay, this could be one of the physical instability. The other is related to the physical interaction that occur between family members. Okay, what happened here is the child is being exposed to a physically threatening environment where items are thrown, items are broken or used to demonstrate fear and anger. Maybe it happens between parents, or it can happen between siblings. It can be between them, or it can be towards the child. Okay, so in other words, there are many factors Okay, they are related. Yeah, that can be the causes, yeah, that triggering factors that can make a child susceptible to mental illness. Okay, so yeah, I believe my other panels also have more to share about this. So I'll give it back to you, Ellie.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Asma, for your sharing. So very solid answer from Dr. just now. Maybe our audience is starting to hit up the seats, but it doesn't matter. We still have a lot of questions to ask our panels. So from what Dr. Asma has shared just now, she shared about some characteristic of mentally healthy child and child with mental illness. What are the characteristic and why are they like that? And why are they like that is due to various factors. It can be environment factors, it can be genetic factors, and from the life experience itself. So maybe if the audiences wants to watch further or miss the sharing just now, you can rewatch our recorded video later. All right. So next, we will move to our next panel, which is Miss Melisha. So your question are, cases of abuse or harass frequently occur in children. Some children prefer to hide this concern from their parents or guardian. What are the reasons why victims do not disclose when they are abused or harassed? This may include bullying or many cases of children that are being bullied.
Thank you so much for the question, first of all. And thank you so much, Dr. Asma. I think that was really spot on. Personally, I am no professional as well when it comes to children mental health, or I wasn't even a student or have any major related to mental health. I became a mental health advocate after experiencing myself, since young. So I am very into mental health and learning more about mental health. So to answer your question, personally, as a individual that have went through similar cases, I would say that the first thing that comes into my mind is fear. You are fearful of the outcome. You're fearful of how people would react. When you tell them, hey, I am, harassed or I'm abused, you are fearful of how your parents would react. Let's say, mom or dad, I have been bullied in school. And sometimes our parents would be like, try to deal with it yourself. How many of you have actually experienced that? Your parents saying that you're able to do it. You just need to talk to your friend and solve it yourself. Where we as children at that moment, we needed our parents to step in, or we needed our teachers to step in. But adults around us, failed us when we were a child. So that naturally caused mental health illnesses that eventually develop into PTSD, like what Dr. Asma mentioned earlier, trauma. I actually agree with her when it comes to trauma and how environment really shapes a child's mental health. And then the next point would be shame. You are kind of like feeling shameful of being treated harshly by your parents, or being treated harshly by a teacher, or your other peers, or let's say you are harassed by someone and automatically in your mind you are to be blamed. In our culture here in Malaysia, it's very common for people to blame the victim for what's happening. Let's look simply at the statistics of how many women are being blamed for being raped. Just looking at that, you would have your answer already. So it's very similar to child mental health. You fearful, you feel shameful, you're afraid. And I today actually posted something on social media. I posted on Instagram asking people what they think about the roots of the problem to the child's mental health. At the end of the day, it's parents. Like, let's all try to think, Char, Dr. Asma, let's try to think, like, what's the roots? We are children, we were children. Our parents are supposed to taught us how to be emotional, how to embrace ourselves, how to think, how to validate our feelings. We always constantly hear, especially my male friends here, you must have heard, like, don't cry. You know, you're a guy, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. As girls, you are restricted this and that, you know, don't dress a certain way. So we are being taught to listen to what society decides for us. We shouldn't do A because someone might react a certain way. And that have shaped us for so many years, and it became an issue. And then the next thing would be guilt. See, thinking that we are the reason why our parents reacted that way. Let's say your parents hit you, or your parents were abusive with you, and then you will be like, oh, because I did this, you know, I did not score straight A's. It's pretty common when we were younger. You didn't score straight A's, or you didn't get a certain score. You needed to study harder, but you ended up failing classes. And instead of your parents trying to understand where are you at or trying to help you to be better, they blame you for your results. And that became an issue because you think that you are the problem. So eventually, when you become an adult, right now, you always believe when your parents say that you're not enough. I don't feel I'm good enough. I don't think I can do it. That's why, like what Dr. Asma showed us earlier, children with mental health illnesses, we tend to easily give up. You know, we tend to be like, oh, it's okay, I can't do it. But instead of trying again, we weren't taught to try harder. So that's also an issue. And then the need to take punishment and listen despite not being guilty. This is what I've written here. And just accept the unfairness that our parents have taught us. So we were not taught to say no. See, let's say someone were to do something to us, or someone were to, you know, try to get us out or try to kidnap us when we were a child. You know, your parents might say to you like, oh, don't take candies from strangers. But some might not say that. You know, you feel like it was okay, so you did not say no. Or when someone touches you inappropriately and your parents did not teach you that was not okay, so you don't say no. You allow that to happen to yourself. But of course, at the end of the day, you don't victim blame. But the cause of the roots here, I truly believe, partially we have to hold our parents responsible, because they should be physically, emotionally, financially stable enough to have a child. If they are not financially, physically, everything, you know, mentally, everything, then at the end of the day, as kids, we will have problems. And as adults, we are trying to solve problems that happen for 23 years. I'm 23 this year. You know, so many problems that happened when I was younger, and I'm still going for therapy and stuff like that. So my last point, brainwash. How many of you think that your parents hitting you, it's the right thing? Thinking that, you know, what they are doing is love. You know, parents might be like hitting you and they're like, oh, it's because I love you. It's because I love you, I hit you. And then when male or female go into an unhealthy relationship, you think that that's okay. You think that that's okay for your partner to abuse you. That's why there are so many victims of abuse. They do not get out from toxic relationship earlier because they think that it's okay. You know, because you want love, because you did not get the attention from your parents when you were younger. So you long for love. And when you get love, when people treat you nicely initially in the relationship, and then eventually it becomes terrible, you don't move away. You just think that, okay, that's okay. So I think that's all from me. But yeah, try to think about it. I think Dr. Asma and Char might agree to me, might disagree. We'll see how.
All right. Thank you, Miss Melisha, for your sharing. And what I can get from your sharing is the 4 main points that you have shared, including why they decided not to tell people about this concern is because out of fear of what will come in the future. They are afraid to be shamed by the society, by people around them, and out of guilt because they think that they are the victims. They are the reason that things happen to them. And of course, because of brainwash, you think that people think that, oh, it's okay to do like this, it's okay to do like that. All right. So very detailed answer given by Melisha just now. So thank you so much. And now I think we can move to our next panel. So before that, I think I'm not the only one who is feeling the warmth of our forum tonight. So why not we spread the warmth of our program to our other friends and to all the viewers. Don't forget to continue to share this YouTube link live to our friends. Okay, so Miss Charlene, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Thank you.
All right. The question for you is, the relationship between parents and children is very important to build a perfect and a happy family. A Japanese quote says, a father's goodness is higher than the mountain, a mother's goodness is deeper than the sea. So how can parents have a more positive relationship with their children? So back to you, Miss Charlene.
All right, that's a very wonderful question, and I'm going to share my screen. All right, so I do believe that that question must be really raised, especially for the parents, because there are lots of children that are really suffering from different mental health illnesses, and they are not properly addressed because their parents are not really aware about what mental health really is. So as a third panel or third speaker, I'm going to be sharing you the different positive ways on how to have a wonderful relationship with children. So I really love this question or topic because as a mental health advocate, I have talked to lots of youth and children, and most of them are really sharing different problems with their parents. And one of it is that their parents is not really aware about what mental health is. So I hope that there are lots of parents right now that are also watching so that they know what to do to their children. And I also hope for those future parents that are here who are also watching, listen closely because this is really significant. All right. So the most important relationship to a child is the one they develop with their parent or caregiver, of course. Children learn about the world around them through a positive parent-child relationship. And as they are growing and changing, children look to their parents to determine whether or not they are safe, secure, and loved. It is also the foundation from which they build their future relationships. This is definitely true because, of course, as a child, you will learn how to socialize first by your parents. Your parents are the one that will tell you or teach you how to face the outside world. That's why it's the most very important foundation as a child and as a human being. Because if you don't have a strong foundation with your parents, most likely that you will struggle once you go to the outside world or once you actually talk or even socialize with other people. You can build a positive parent-child relationship by being in the moment with your child, spending quality time together and creating an environment where they feel comfortable to explore. There is no secret handbook or guaranteed approach to get this relationship right, and you'll likely find hardships along the way. However, if you keep working on improving your relationship, your child will truly blossom. So this is actually from Paige Dorn, LCWS. She is actually a therapist or a child therapist. So just like Mel, I just want to give a disclaimer because I'm not actually a professional. I'm not also a psychology student, but I'm here as a mental health advocate, and I'll be sharing you what I learned from the previous webinars, seminars, or even the books that I have learned in terms of mental health. So there are 8 positive parenting techniques that can help you strengthen the relationship between you and your child. So these are some of the ways. Number 1 is show your love. Human touch and loving affection is needed to every stage of our lives for healthy emotional and neurobiological development. It is important that your child receive gentle touch or loving touch, like for example, hugs. Hugs is the most common thing, and also kisses from you several times throughout the day. Treat every interaction as an opportunity to connect with your child. Greet them with warm expressions, give them eye contact, smile, and encourage honest interaction. Actually, I have seen this to my mom. She has been doing this, and my dad as well. that's why I'm really blessed, because I grew with a very healthy family, or a very healthy household, because my parents are very supportive and they're also kind of clingy to their children. So the thing is, I don't actually see this to the different families, because I have seen families that, you know, they isolate their child, or maybe they're not just really into each other. And I realize how important it is, because it builds my self-esteem, especially when you have lots of problems, you're facing lots of problems. It's important that you feel the warmth or love of your parents, because they're the one that you expect to support you, right? So receiving a hug, a kiss, or a smile from your parents is really different. So I hope that all of the parents will show their love through physical touch. This is one of the love languages, right? So this is really important, because a child will really feel safe once they see that their parents are really open and expressive to them. Touch can strongly transmit a sense of being accepted and cared for. The emotional benefits, touch also confers physiological benefits. All right, so for the second one is say I love you often. So it's not just I love you. Of course, there are lots of words on how are you going to express your love to a certain person. So for your child, of course, as long as they're still a child, you really need to practice telling them I love you. But if you're going to change the situation, do you guys still say I love you to your parents? All right, so there are lots of teenagers that they don't actually say I love you to their parents. I think it's because they didn't actually, you know, grew this kind of expressive language to each other. So I think at a very young age, if your child practices hearing I love you from you, of course, they will definitely set it back until they grow older. So I have this 13-year-old brother and my sister that she's already 16 this year. Still, they keep on saying I love you to my parents. And I believe it's because my parents really practiced saying I love you to the three of us. So it's a really great practice, because we also learn how to express ourselves to our parents, express our love. But of course, sometimes we kind of feel shy to say I love you to our parents. But there are lots of things like you can say to your child, I believe in you. I believe in you has a really strong impact to a child, because we all know that during the child stage, or while the child is still growing, it is a part where they are still building their self-esteem. So at a very young age, if you continue to say these positive words to your child, like you are amazing, I believe in you, of course, this will really give a great toll in their mental health, to their self-esteem, and later on they will be more confident on expressing themselves. So it really starts from within the parents. So now, set boundaries, rules, and consequences. So this is kind of controversial, because in every household, parents have very different kind of giving punishment to their children. So children need structure and guidance as they grow and learn about the world around them. Talk to your children about what you expect from them and make sure they do understand. When rules are broken, make sure to have an appropriate consequences in place and be consistent with them. To learn more about age-appropriate consequences, we can visit different websites. So what are we going to focus right now is, just like what Mel mentioned a while ago, hitting children as a form of consequences. So hitting kids, it can actually worsen or bring a long-term behavior to your child. Children who experience repeated use of corporal punishment tend to develop more aggressive behaviors, increased aggression in school, and an increased risk of mental health disorders or cognitive problems. This could also cause trauma to your child. It's not actually great to hit your child, because instead of your child opening up to you about why did they do this certain thing that you didn't want, you know, they will feel really isolated. They will be more afraid. It's like you're building a wall with your child. You're building a wall that they'll become more afraid about opening up themselves to you. Because if you will listen to them about why did you do that? like you need to be more calm. You need to be more gentle in order for them to be more open to you. And of course, in terms of consequences, you have to make consequences that are really proper to their age. Like, for example, one of the greatest consequences, not actually the greatest, but the common is like grounding your child, like confiscating their cell phones, something like that. They're not allowed to go outside for a week. Those are kinds of consequences that, of course, could really help them develop and instill in their mind that they did such a wrong thing. And if they don't want that to happen again, of course, they will not do the things that you really don't want. Just always remember to have age-appropriate consequences. All right, so for the next one is listen and empathize. Just like what I've mentioned earlier, it's really important to listen to your child because connection starts with listening. Acknowledge your child's feelings, show them that you do understand, and reassure them that you are there to help with whenever they need you. Most of the children are not really open with their parents because they believe that they are not going to understand them. So you have to put yourselves into the shoes of your child or children. You have to always remember that this kid is still growing. He or she has still lots of things to learn. So you really have to empathize. You have to make them feel that you still love them no matter what. Try to see things from your child's perspective. By listening and empathizing with your child, you will begin to foster mutual respect. Of course, actually, one of the issues in the Filipino household, and I do believe in other households as well, is disrespecting. I think that's one of the things that parents don't really want to feel. So if you build this wonderful connection with your child, of course, disrespecting will not happen because they will open up to you gentle as well. So don't shout to your child. Always remember to be gentle, to be calm, even though that they did such a bad thing. Always remember that you're the one who's older here. So you really need to put a lot of understanding to your child because they are still in the process of learning. So I'm going to share you the problem here in the Filipino household. The problem in the Filipino household is the culture of superiority or dominance among parents. I don't know if this also happens. Okay, well, look, it looks like Melissa is agreeing with me. So parents or guardians have this mentality that they're always right. And whenever their child try to explain, they always say in Tagalog or in Filipino, bastos ka, sumasagot ka na, which means they feel that their child is disrespecting them. It is important that your parents will learn how to empathize children to do what and understand what the children is saying in order to fix the problem. This is the main reason why there are lots of child that doesn't really want to open up with their parents because their parents will tell them, you're disrespecting me by the way you answer me. So in order to have this kind of fixing the issue itself, you really need to be calm as well and understand your child and tell your child to lower down his or her voice. You really need to be the one who adjusts. So in the next time that you face a certain issue, your children will already, adjust or tell you his or her problem in a gentle way. It takes practice, but of course it starts from you. I want to remind the parents that even though they are the ones who has lots of experience, always try to listen to your child. That's the most important thing in order, to not have greater problems in the near future. All right, so next one is play together. Play is so important to a child's development. This is where they actually learn how to build language skills or even building and problem-solving skills. It is the tool through which children develop different kinds of skills and which they express their emotions, foster creativity, and learn about social skills. Additionally, it is a fun way for you to strengthen your relationship with your child. It does not matter what you play. The key is to just enjoy each other and commit to giving your child your undivided attention. This is really significant because it's like the child will also feel that she or he is, given prioritized by you. So it's really important that you have to make them feel that you always have time for them. Play together, it's part of your bonding as a parent and child. and be available and distraction free. So when you guys have a time to bond around or play, please do not open your phones. Stop using gadgets for a while. Just go on, look to your child, talk to your child, play, and bond together. Setting aside just maybe 10 minutes a day to talk to your child without distractions can really make a big difference in establishing good communication habits. Turn off the TV, put away your electronic devices, and spend some quality time together. Your child needs to know that you believe they are a priority in your life, despite the many distractions and stressors that come in your way. So as a parent, of course, it's kind of hard. Maybe it's because you're a career woman or a career dad. Still, do not forget this one. It's your responsibility as a parent to give them the specific time that they need in order to grow better. And create parent and child rituals. Just like what I've mentioned in terms of playing with your child, if you have more than one child, try to make a point of spending individual time with each of them. Quality one-on-one time with your child can strengthen the parent-child bond. It builds up your child's self-esteem and lets them know that they are special and valued. Some parents schedule in special date nights with their child to create that one-on-one opportunity. There are lots of ways to bond with your child. Even a simple movie date or just walk around the park, jog around. That's a very important way in order for you to make your child feel that you have a time for them. Actually, there are lots of issues in terms of parents that doesn't have, time for their children. Children that doesn't have complete support from their parents, or if they feel that they're not prioritized enough, they tend to, become a rebel because they find this love. They are longing for this love that their parents should be the one that, gave them in the first place. But what happened when they grew older is they just look to someone else who they think that they can, receive that love that they do really want. So as a parent, we really need to build a specific trust and a connection with our child. And also, guys, disclaimer, I'm still not a parent. I'm still a student. Okay. So the next one is eat meals together. So what I love in the Filipino culture is we really love eating meals together, specifically during dinner. I don't know. I think this ritual really pass on generations to generations, because in my family, my mom and dad always tell us to put down our phones, because dinner time is actually the time that you guys would communicate, talk about your day, talk about what happened to school, which is really great because and then your parents will give different comments and praises that you did a great job today. That's really, that could really bring a great change to your child's life. So always remember to put up this simple kinds of things like dinner, because your child will really practice to speak and express themselves fully once you create this different things. So mealtime is also a great opportunity for you to teach your children the importance of a healthy and balanced diet, which also affects your overall mental health. So basically, where you guys are eating, of course, you have to talk about different healthy foods that they should intake, even if they're outside your home. Always remind them that you guys matter, of course. It's also a reminder that a parent that has a strong connection with their child, there are greater chances that their child will really succeed in life. So always remember that it starts from the parents. So once you have a child, planning to have a child, think about these different things, because this will really affect the overall mentality of your kid. And, I also want to remind everyone, especially the ones or the couples, don't put up a child if you think that you're not still ready for it, because it's a huge responsibility, a responsibility that you will forever take. So you have to remind yourself, remind your partner, if you guys are still not ready. It's not just about being financially ready. Just like what I've mentioned here, it's also about being mentally ready, emotionally ready. You have to be intelligent, because if you're not ready, your child will definitely suffer at the end of the day, which is we don't want to happen. Let us not add on different many tolls in the world. So, let us be responsible human beings, and let us be responsible parents as well. So thank you so much. And that is my answer for the very first question.
Wow, thank you so much, Miss Charlene. It was an indeed, how to say, if in Malaysia we would say sangat berapi. It's like full of fire and spirit and ignites through the discussion. All right. So from your sharing, I love it how you shared about the Filipinos culture as well and relates it to the situation. And what I can conclude from this is to, as a parents, they will have to show your love, not only through words, but also through your action, such as spending time with your children, eat meals together, be available to them, and their attention, bonding, and to be understanding with your children can be a great game changer in your children's life as well as in their mental health. All right. So thank you so much, Miss Charlene, for your sharing. Okay. So next, we will move to the round two for our forum. But yeah, don't for our audiences, don't be shy to leave questions in the comment section and chat box so that our panel can prepare to answer your question. So now we move again to Dr. Asma. So for Dr. Mental health problems have various symptoms and etiology as stated in the DSM-5. So what are some signs or indicators that a child could be experiencing a mental health issue? So doctor, you may
Thank you, Ellie.
continue.
But before I start answering that question, I just want to give just a small comment. Yeah, listening to Miss Malaysia and Miss Chardin, it seems like both of them are telling the audience that don't have a kid if you're not ready. I mean, that's a very challenging, situation. When you are married, the next thing is, the big question is, when are you going to have a child? Yeah, okay. And I believe parents are never perfect. And, children, yeah, we can never expect our children to be perfect as well. And I think that's the beauty of life, living with our imperfection so that we can learn to share. Yeah, we can learn to give and take. Yeah, we can cherish about other people's life, and it makes our experience richer. Okay, if all of us are perfect, I think it becomes something boring. Okay, something to ponder, and later on, yeah, both of you can give your opinion too. Okay, let's see my slide on that. Okay, these are some of the early warnings. Yeah, how can we detect, some mental illness among children? Yeah, children, they don't have what we call the ability sometimes. Yeah, some of the children, they don't have the ability to express, how they feel, how they, what they think of something. And most of the time, children are powerless. Yeah, they lack power, and they are being controlled. Okay, they have to be dependent on adults around them. Okay, so how can we as adults, and I believe most of the students here, are going to be teachers. Okay, so how can you detect some of the signs, the early signs among your children, and who needs your attention? Okay, so some of the early signs can include eating or sleeping, too much or too little. Okay, some kids, they don't want to face the world. They feel, there's nothing more in this life, so they sleep throughout the day. Until, to the point where they feel really hungry, then they wake up. Or after, being shouted by the parents, then they will not pull themselves out of the bed. Okay, and then pulling away from people and usual activities. Okay, they don't want to play anymore. They don't want to mix anymore. Okay, and they, shy away or run away from the activities, that involve other children. Okay, having low or no energy. Okay, it seems like they are lethargic all the time. Okay, no energy. Okay, even to speak sometimes, or even to eat. So it's kind of weird for a child, because we know child is full of energy. How come this child, lacks energy? Okay, and then feeling numb or like nothing matters. They don't care. When parents ask them anything, it seems like, yeah, anything will do. Okay, anything is fine with me. They show no interest in this life. Okay, having unexplained aches or pains. Yeah, sometimes children complain that they feel, especially stomach ache. Okay, and then headache, something that we cannot really identify, what's wrong with that. Okay, and then they just sometimes they want parents, to massage, their shoulder or their legs, because they say, they feel pain everywhere. Okay, but it's difficult to pinpoint where exactly the pain is. Okay, and then the early sign also can be feeling of helpless or hopeless. Okay, they kind of give up, like they feel their life is a reality, meaning that whatever is happening to them is like they have to accept. The same thing like Malaysia explained earlier. Okay, it seems like it could be like brainwash, what is happening to them, how they are being treated, like they have to accept that is normal, that is okay, that is right. Okay, and if life is like that, what would child think of the future? They don't want to continue living in that kind of situation. Okay, so they have this feeling of helpless. And then maybe some child, they get involved in smoking, drinking, or using drugs. Okay, and then feeling unusually confused, forgetful, on edge, angry, upset, worried, or scared. A lot of these negative feelings. Okay, like they have one feelings after another, and this feeling can easily be triggered. Okay, and especially if they are under stress. Okay, or yelling or fighting with family and friends. They argue almost with everyone. It's strange, for a child to argue to almost everyone around them. Okay, so there must be something that is not right. Okay, and then experiencing severe mood swings that cause problems in relationships. One time they are happy, the next moment they are not, they are shouting, to their friends, they are arguing with another person, they could be punching or throwing things, a lot of mood swing. Okay, and then the next one is having persistent thoughts and memories that you can get out of your head. They have maybe, if they are living in a family where divorce or marital conflict is happening, where domestic violence is taking place, okay, they have these thoughts, they have this what we call, they could hear the words being said between the parents. The parents would shout or label the other parent or blame the other parents. Okay, all the words will come back to haunt the child. And sometimes it turns into a nightmare. Okay, and then hearing voices or believing things that are not true. Okay, this could be partly has to do with some brainwashing, meaning that the parents may say something and wanted the child to believe it. And like for example, it's much easier to share an example. The parents would say, okay, you cannot tell other people what happened in the family. Okay, it's just within our family. If you tell other people, then that will leave us. Okay, or that will do something to you. And the child, because the world is their reality, the family is their reality. Their parents are the closest people to them. Okay, so it must be true. The threat being said to them is true, it's going to happen. Okay, so even though they are not happy, they are scared, but they have to believe, they have no choice. Okay, and then thinking of harming themselves or others. Okay, this happen maybe not to the young child, but sometimes or usually among the teenagers. Okay, they are stronger than a young child. Okay, so what they do is they harm themselves. Okay, they use a knife, or they use, like some pins, they can use anything, even a pen or a pencil, okay, to punch themselves, okay, so that they can see blood, and when they see blood, then they feel okay, they feel fine. It seems like all their negative feelings is, find a way out with the blood. Or if they don't do self-harm, then they will try to get revenge on another person, okay, because that person has caused them pain, okay. And another early warnings could be the inability to perform daily tasks like taking care, of kids or getting to work or school. Okay, so maybe, the child, they don't feel like going to school. Okay, other children, it's normal for them, to get ready and go to school, looking forward to meet their friends. But for some children, okay, they have this disruption in their daily activity. They don't feel like going to school and they don't feel like mixing with other kids. Okay, and these are some of the things more or less overlap with the early sign I mentioned earlier. Okay, so let's see. Significant changes in personality, behavior, or sleeping habits, such as waking up early, becoming agitated, increased aggression, or lack of sleep altogether. Okay, so parents, I think, parents, it seems maybe we don't have that many parents tonight, but we have counselor trainees who are going to be counselors. Okay, so these are the things, that you can look into your clients, ask them, whether there are some changes in their life pattern or in their routine, activity. Or you can also observe these changes in your younger siblings. Okay, once in a while you are living with your family, but some other time you are living with your friends or living in the hostel. If you see some significant changes taking place in your younger siblings, be alert, get closer to her or him and ask what is happening. Okay. And okay, this could be another thing, difficulty concentrating or remaining still in school, leading to poor work performance or failure in classes. Okay, they cannot focus on what the teacher is teaching. Okay, like they are somewhere. Physically, they are there, but mentally and emotionally, they were thinking of something else. They were feeling something else. Okay, they cannot concentrate. When they cannot concentrate, that will lead to academic failure. Okay, and then lack of eating, sign of vomiting, or utilizing laxative to lose weight, or signs of significant weight loss, or weight gain can signal an eating disorder as well as body dysmorphia. Okay, this usually happens among female, or girl teenagers. Okay, they are so concerned about how other people perceive them. Okay, so physical appearance is very important. So they try to live up to the social expectation. Okay, if you see some of the students are not eating or, like engage in what we call eating disorder or have certain attitude towards food, negative attitude towards food, maybe we want to talk to those people, to those students. Okay. Okay, these are some different symptoms between adults and children. Okay, we cannot use the same yardstick to understand the signs, the mental illness signs. What happened in a child and what is being experienced by an adult would be different. Okay, so adults, when they are depressed, okay, they are more withdrawn. Okay, they withdraw from groups of friends, but whereas teenagers, okay, they become more withdrawn from family, but they still be close with friends at school. Okay, I think this is explainable, because why? Because we don't have much choice when we are at home. Parents are busy, okay, siblings are busy, Okay, maybe they treated us in certain way and we don't like it. Okay, but when we are with our friends, we feel accepted. Okay, so we can, some people say, yeah, you might have what we call multiple personality, but it's not. Yeah, the environment sometimes cause us, to be choosy with who we feel comfortable and secure, and with whom we don't feel like that. Okay, and teens with depression may experience a significant change in sleep patterns, but are less likely to develop insomnia compared to adults with depression, meaning that adults with depression, they find it very difficult to fall asleep, but not so much with teenagers. Okay, maybe it has something to do with, biological, chemical, yeah, something like that. Okay, and then teenagers may be more likely to express, irritability or anger when struggling with anxiety, depression, or related condition, whereas adults are more likely to express sadness, feelings of worthlessness, and become increasingly withdrawn from those around them. Okay, so maybe because teenagers, they have more energy, so they express, their emotion through their behavior. Okay, whereas adults, they more, like maybe, I'm not so sure about this. Okay, maybe they are, more concerned about how people perceive them. Okay, and I think Miss Malaysia, Malaysia already described this really well. Yeah, all this blaming, guilt, and everything. Yeah, after some period of time, adults, okay, what happened to us is we internalize, all those things, and it's kind of eating us from the inside. Okay, instead of exhibit or be aggressive, okay, we tend to, rechannel everything to inside, to our internal sense of control, meaning that, we cannot do anything with our environment, we cannot do anything with people around us. What we can do is punish ourselves. Okay, that's the difference between teenagers and adults. Okay. Okay, this is something like, when to seek help. Okay, a general rule is to seek help, if the behavior or mood begin to interfere with other daily tasks such as school, friendship, hobbies, sport, or family. Okay, so this is more like a guideline, okay, who to approach. If you know people around you, if you know your siblings, if you know the students well, and if you can spot the changes in their behavior or mood, okay, you approach them. Okay, and find out, trying to identify whether these changes affect, other parts of their life. Okay, if this mood and behavior are affecting, other parts of their life, then it should be some alarm, that maybe some kind of help or some kind of intervention, should take place before the situation becomes serious. Okay, and then another thing, we need to pay extra attention to when a child, okay, start talking about wanting to hurt themselves or others. Okay, this is, I think, nobody. If we are not parents, if we are friends to this person, okay, we need to kind of immediately, take the person or alert another person who is close to the child, okay, to take care of the person, meaning that this person really need help. Okay, when the person, when the child start talking about hurting himself or others, okay, cannot say it just like the child has nothing to say, so you say that. No, the child may be sending a serious message to people around him or her. Okay, that's about all, Ellie.
All right, thank you so much, Doctor. So for this round of sharing, I think it's important for the trainee teachers like me to refresh our knowledge on this issue. And then on how their children feel, on how their children behave, and thoughts about any kind of things that are lingering in their minds. So especially to seek help immediately when there's something like, and to pay extra attention when they mention something like hurting themselves or hurting other people due to the stress that they are having. So yeah, so without further ado, we'll move to the next question for Miss Shalin. Sorry, for Miss Malisha. Sorry. Okay, so the question is, children also have their opinions, and sometimes their opinions may be acceptable or to be looked down upon by people who are older than them. So how can we teach children to speak up when something is not right? So Miss Malisha, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Wow, I'm learning so much, to be honest, from Dr. Asma and Char. I really am enjoying the forum so far. To answer Dr. Asma earlier, she mentioned about imperfection in parents and how, we should think about it, how me and Char, should insert an input. So for me, I truly believe that if parents do not unlearn certain things that they personally have went through, they will continue the same thing onto their children. For example, if they did not unlearn certain bad behavior, or they were experiencing divorce personally and how their parents were very abusive, so they did not unlearn those things. So what happened is, they start to do the same thing with their kids. They yell at their kids, they scold their kids, they hit their kids. So what I learned from my parents personally, my dad always mentioned to me about how my grandparents were very physically abusive. So what happened is, my dad did not unlearn that, and he is slightly, he tends to raise his voice sometimes and stuff like that. And, I, as a child, I always have that mindset where I don't want to be like my parents. Each of us have that mindset. We try to be better than them. But then I also understand how Dr. Asma said that parents are not perfect. They try. I think the important word here, the key word here is they try. As long as they try to be better parents, they try to understand us, they try to put themselves in our shoes, they try to engage with us, like what Char mentioned earlier, playtime, spend time with you, let's put down our phone. I used to, when I call my parents, they don't answer because both of them are working most of the time. So I developed something with phone calls. I dislike phone calls. Like, I really dislike phone calls. I wouldn't like call you. I would like text you instead, because I am so worried that you wouldn't answer. Or for example, because of how little things might happen at home and my parents might react in a negative way. So I tend to not speak to them as much as I would like. So I really love how Char mentioned about in the Philippines, how her family is so accepting and supportive. I really wish that more parents are like Char parents, they say, I love you. They say hugs, kisses. Ellie, come on, you're smiling. Like that would be so nice. Like everyone here, that would be so nice hearing your parents say, I love you. I'm proud of you. I think as Asian kids, we long for that. We long for that affection from our parents. We would like them to say that to us. But most of the time it's difficult to get. But to answer your question, what's the question again, Ellie? How can we know when to speak up, right?
Yeah, how can we encourage the children to speak up when something is not right?
I think that is by guiding them, teaching them what's right, what's wrong, moral values, principle. As a human being, okay, that's something that my dad always taught me, like to have principle, to have boundaries, which line to not cross in life. Even when you're working, you have to set boundaries, otherwise you will be working 24/7. Okay. Sometimes after 7 is after 7, after work is after work. It's not needed for you to engage further when it comes to work. You have to have a balance in life. You have to spend time with yourself, have some me time. I think we are not taught to have me time, to express ourselves emotionally, to cry. It's okay to cry. There's something in Yana, our platform, we like to say it's okay to not be okay. Because it truly is, you don't need to fake and be strong. You don't need to be like, oh, I'm okay. When you're clearly not okay, there are so many thoughts going in your mind, you're feeling so stressed out. You need to find someone to talk to. However, your parents are not people that you want to talk to, you can always find your friends. But some of my previous webinars, they might say that, I don't have a friend to share about it. Then you can consider therapists or even your teachers, your counselors. There must be someone that you can find to talk to, that would actually listen to you. I think the important part here is also to listen to your kids, like what Cha mentioned, to listen to them, to understand them, to put yourself in their shoes, to teach them age-appropriate things. For example, sex education. How many of us actually went through sex education in Form 4 or Form 3? Was it Chapter 4? You learned that so late. But previously, before you reach that age, you have kids around. Nowadays, we have internet. Kids are very curious about their bodies. They tend to learn other things from Netflix. Sometimes it's no longer PG appropriate shows. They might be playing game that has tons of curse words, tons of inappropriate stuff. So they tend to learn from that. But if you as a parent, you actually have a conversation with them, teaching them that, okay, this is, you're now 12 or you're now 14, after you have your menstrual, how do you take care of yourself? What you can do with your partner, what you cannot do. And, if you consider to do something when you're younger, how you should act or what should you do to have certain precautions. See, those could actually help you or, could reduce the number of statistics when it comes to abortion or when it comes to baby dumping. And it's pretty common here in Malaysia. So that's something that, as parents, you can do that as well to ensure that kids would actually speak up. When it's wrong, you'll be saying it out, it's wrong. But because of the brainwash for so many years, you're thinking like, oh, it's okay for my parents to hit me. So it's okay for my partner to hit me. Even though if I'm hurting, I would not get out from the relationship. So my friend actually mentioned to me something that I think I would like to share. She mentioned that we look at our partner as a flag. Try treating your partner as a flag. So we are facing our partner and we cannot see how the flag actually looks like, right? It's flying like this. You're looking from the front. But your friends and family can actually see from the side. They can see how red is the flag or how green is the flag. Is there issues with the flag? Sometimes when you are so blinded with love or so blinded with how perfect your relationship is because you're not getting that same attention or love from your parents, you long for that with the wrong people. And that cycle of abuse happen and you don't speak up when it's not right. When your partner might start to be abusive, you think it's okay. Or maybe, let's say, what are signs of red flags? Yelling at you, disrespecting you. A lot of parents expect respect, but respect is earned. I truly believe that respect is earned. You cannot immediately respect another person. I mean, of course you can when it comes to older people, but gradually you need to earn their respect. So that applies the same to relationships. You need to teach your kids to respect one another, to respect your parents, to, when you speak to them, you have to speak with the correct tone. If you speak with them with the wrong tone, they will be speaking to you the same way. And then you learn that cycle. You don't break out from the same cycle. You just continue and continue and continue. You have to prepare your kids and equip your kids with knowledge that the world is going to be difficult. You are going to face a lot of challenges. How do you face those challenges? Let's say you're 17, you are going to college soon. What steps do you need to take? What course do you want to take? Which financial planning should you be doing? Are you supposed to take PTPTN? and then ended up in debt? Or are you going to work slightly harder so you get scholarship? Those conversations with your kids is needed. Otherwise, they will be so clueless. How many of you don't even know how to pay your bills? Girl, I am telling you, Ellie, you, Dr. Asma, you might be surprised. There are a lot of kids that don't, or not kids, I mean like new adults, young adults that don't even know how to pay their bills because we are not taught to do so. And then when we are required to do so, you're like, oh, okay, you need to learn it. So the same thing in school, we are not taught more societal skills. I feel like those skills are more important. We are taught like maths, science, English, history. These are all important. However, life skills are more important. You know, I always believe in being street smart. You see, being book smart is amazing, but being street smart makes you different. See, that is how you separate yourself with another person. So there might be like 10 graduates, but how can you be different from the other 9 is by being street smart. You know what you're talking about. You do research, you plan, you know how to speak when it's right or when it's wrong. So I think that is pretty much it. I think Char and Dr. Asma, you know, we kind of cover each other. I think, you know, I took your point, and then Char, you know, mentioned each other. And yeah, just by validating your child and having respect, boundary, whichever that Char mentioned earlier, it's very, very important. So back to you, Ellie.
Thank you, Miss Melisha, for your wonderful sharing. And yes, knowledge is a very important key. And for children to have awareness about what happened to their surrounding and bodies will indirectly help them to speak up for whatever they are facing whenever there is anything wrong happen with them. All right, so next we'll move to Miss Charlene. Okay, for the next question, as I mentioned earlier, children are also exposed to mental health problems. So what are the effective ways for children to be mindful or to maintain their mental health? So the floor is yours, Miss Charlene.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Actually, that's a great question as well. You know, actually, it looks like that Mel and Doctor already mentioned some of the tips already. So I'm just going to be adding some additional. Yes, that's so true because lots of children have been experiencing different mental health issues as well. So I'm going to be giving you a little bit of tips on how are you going to make your child be mindful, because as a parent, of course, still it's your responsibility to teach your children about their mental health or emotional well-being. So I guess we're going to start by teaching your children about the language of feelings. One of the most important things that you can actually teach your children is to recognize what they are feeling and to express their feelings into words. A lot of children have been really, you know, having a hard time in terms of telling what they really feel or what they do express, just like what I've mentioned earlier. So I believe that at a very young age, teach your children on how to actually, you know, the language of feelings. Like, for example, if something is bad, how can that child express that that thing is bad? So you really have to show them a little bit of example, because, you know, they could sometimes, it's going to be hard for them to understand or express if you're not going to teach them about the language of feelings. You have to tell them or teach them how to carefully express themselves, especially when they feel sad, when they feel happy, or with the different emotions. This will also help them, you know, boost their self-esteem, and it will also help them to cope up with different children around them. The emotion of anger, of course, brings awareness that something is hurtful. When we recognize that we are hurt, our problem-solving skills, of course, will also improve. So as a child grows, there are lots of steps, or there are lots of things that, you know, they will go into. So as a parent, you really have to guide your child and always remind them how important it is to express their emotions. But of course, if the child doesn't want to, don't force them to. You just really have to be gentle and wait for them to open up at the right time. And then just second one is, just like what I've mentioned earlier, you really have to put yourselves in the shoes of your children. You have to be you have to empathize. So because if they will feel that you do understand them, it's like a safeguard or a safe haven, that they will really feel secure that you do understand them. So they will really start expressing themselves unto you. Expressing yourself is actually one of the great things, to distress. So as long as they're still a child, they should learn how to distress themselves by carefully expressing themselves. Even though not through words, they can express themselves, of course, through artworks, through journaling, through writing. You just really have to encourage your child. Encouragement is a great deal in order for them to have a great mental health state. And then the third one that I'm going to be giving you as an advice is be aware of your child's overall actions and behavior. Just like what Mel mentioned earlier, and Doctor, they have been mentioning different warning guards or warning signs that your child might be, suffering from a mental illness, or maybe they're really planning to somehow hurt themselves. There are lots of red flags that you can really see. And as a parent, you should not disregard that red flag. You should always remember that, take good care of your child by knowing what he or she really feels. If he or she doesn't want to open up, just wait for the right moment and make that child feel that you are there for him or her no matter what. Just, be aware of their overall actions and behaviors. And sometimes, of course, some parents doesn't know what their child does in school. So it's important for you to have a great connection or conversation with your child's teacher in order for you to be really updated about what he or she is really going into school, what is he or she is really doing, or how does your child really communicate with other children as well. And then the next thing that I'm going to give us a tip is that you need to encourage your child in terms of creativity. Actually, at the child stage, it is a stage where, a child explores different kinds of talent. So you can encourage your child to join different workshops. You can also encourage your child to try painting or even, sing. I think, it's really prominent or common in school. There are lots of parents, especially in Asian household, they actually encourage their child to go on different trainings and workshops, sometimes modeling, sometimes, dancing, karate. So there are lots of things that, piano, just like what Mel is doing. So yeah, I think it's really important at a very young age. You need to encourage them to find and develop that talent or skill, because this will really help them in the near future. And it will definitely boost their self-esteem, because just like what I mentioned earlier, expressing themselves can be in different forms. It's not just in language, it can be in the form of talent. So the next thing would be show your kids or child having mix of struggle and strength is normal for everyone. So Mel mentioned earlier that social or life skills are not really taught in school. We're more into an academic side, which is, somehow sad, because as we graduate, it's like we're lost. How are we supposed to cope up with different things if we're not, taught to do so? So it's like, it's like, you're on your own. You have to do this. You have to explore this on your own. It's kind of scary, but as a parent, you also have to encourage your child that struggling is normal. Actually, as a child before, I struggled lots of things also in school, in academics. I'm not really good in math, so I struggled as a child. But then I felt a wonderful encouragement by my parents that struggling is okay. Struggling will make you stronger as a person. Don't pressure them. Don't put them into fire, because they will really have a hard time coping if you will not teach them that struggling is normal. Remind them that these things are really normal for everyone. And the next thing is, the way kids think is very important. As a parent, you also should know how your kids think, or how your kid perceives into different issues, because even if you're not beside him or her, at least you trust your kid, because you already know what he or she will do in a certain situation. So you really need to know your child more in order for you to have a trust and let your child have an independent state of mind. Because if we're not being taught to do some life skills at school, then as a parent, teach it to your children at a very young age. And the next thing that I'm also going to be sharing is to break the toxic cycle. So and also in the Philippine household, there's also a very toxic cycle. Like, for example, putting pressure on the eldest child, like breadwinners. I think Mel knows that thought. Yes, as breadwinners, there's really pressure, So studies have also shown that breadwinners or the elder ones are the ones who are really prone to depression, because it feels like, they are really carrying a tall, and it's a huge responsibility. Actually, in Asian household, after you graduate, it's your responsibility, to give back to your parents. Unlike on the Western part, when you're 18, it's like, you can go on and have your life. But here, in our Asian household, still you have this bond that you cannot really break, even if until you get married. So let us break that toxic cycle. Even if your child is the breadwinner, let's not put so much pressure, because actually, I'm actually, sharing the thing that, it's not your child's responsibility to give back. Though, of course, it's part because they love you, but you should not force your child. Just teach him what to do things in the right future, but don't instill a toxic mindset that they will bring on the next generation. Don't force them that they're the ones who's responsible to make their siblings study. Of course, some of us will do that. Like, for example, I would really love to do that. But if your child doesn't want to, just don't force him. Give them a positive vibe, or give them like a very good advice. Just don't force them to do anything that they don't really want in life. Break the cycle that parents, continue to instill their minds, or, some parents actually give a very unrealistic standard. So let's not be like that. Let's give them a standard that every child can reach. So it's important because they have their own life. And the next thing is, just always remind yourself that as a parent, you need to be really there for your child and give them all the support they need. Because if you're not there, of course, they will find it to someone that you could give it. So just always remind yourself that it's very important for you to be a responsible parent and to always be aware of mental health. Let us also break the stigma that mental health is something negative. It's actually a taboo in Asian, in our Asian culture. They think that mental health issues is a taboo. So let us stop that cycle. Let us stop toxic negative or toxic positivity. Just like what Mel mentioned, it's okay to not be okay. Let's stop toxic positivity and encourage our child to feel that certain emotion that he is feeling in a certain manner. So that's all for my talk. Thank you so much. Back to you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Ms. Charlene, for your sharing. So due to time constraint, so we will move to the next part of this forum, which is the Q&A session. So I hope all the panels have read their questions in the chat box, and each question will only have 4 minutes time limited to answer. So for the first question is for Dr. Asma. Do autocratic parents cause their children to experience stress due to suffocation or obedience to instruction that cause them to experience mental health problems such as depression and anxiety? So the floor is yours, Doctor.
Okay, thank you, Ellie. It's a difficult question to start with. Like, it's not an easy, like, how can I give a cause and effect? Would somebody who practice this kind of parenting style would have this kind of children? It's not as easy as that. Okay, so I think there are 3 parenting styles. The laissez-faire, the autocratic, and the authoritative. Okay, parenting style. Okay, I think each one of these can produce certain kind of mental illness in their children. Okay, so what are the same, what we call the same themes or the familiar environment, regardless of what kind of parenting style you have. But if you have these few things being practiced in the family, then sure, the children will experience mental illness, okay, or being predisposed to some kind of mental problem later. What are the things? Okay, 1, exposure to violence. Okay, you can have parents. Yeah, you can have laissez-faire parents. Yeah, but if they resort to violence, okay, shouting to each other, throwing things, even using their knife, using knife to threat each other, okay, or to endanger another person, okay, in front of the children, it really make the child live in danger. Okay, the child will go to bed crying. Okay, the child feels so insecure. If my parents, my father can do that to my mother, who am I? Okay, wouldn't my father do that to me too? And then the child would feel, I'm here. Okay, couldn't I do something to protect my mother? You know, okay, that's one thing. Okay, so violence, aggression. Okay, and then another thing is verbal abuse. Okay, so you can have laissez-faire, you can have autocratic, you can have authoritative. If people in the house cannot talk with respect to each other, use good words, nice words to each other, give a constructive comment, but not labeling, not putting down each other. Okay, what will happen to the child? It will make the child lose their confidence. They wouldn't have good self-concept. Okay, they wouldn't believe in themselves. Okay, so to me, it's not a matter of the parenting style that the parents practice in the family, but it's more like how they deal with each other. We can talk about depression and anxiety. There are many factors to that. Okay, it's not a direct relationship to the parenting style. Okay, then another thing, given the situation in Malaysia, parents tend to be autocratic when the children are young. Okay, because they want to set the discipline. Okay, they want the children to follow rules. They want the children, why the rules are there? Because they want to make sure the children behave properly. Okay, know what they're supposed to do. Okay, it's for, it can be, most of the time parents say, I use rules, I use this, you have to follow this because I love you, because I care for you. To some certain extent, it's true. Okay, but I don't want to comment on that. Okay. Then another thing, most of the time, not rarely we find both parents use autocratic parenting style in the family. Maybe we have one of the parents use another style. So it kind of complement, if you don't do something, you get punishment. But you have another parent who will be supportive, who will be there for you, to console you, to comfort you. So we never have a solid autocratic, full of strict, full of punishment, okay, full of rules, or full of controlling environment. We rarely have that. Okay, so that's all, Eli.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asma. So next question will be asked to Ms. Shalin. Okay, I have a question about play together. How if child addiction to game or gadget and refuse if parents want to have bonding time? Can parents force their children, or it will have other conflict?
Wow, that question is really common because, during our days, because our generation is full of technology, lots of children are really addicted to using cell phones or gadgets. So this question is really time relevant. And, one of the things that you can do as a parent is, of course, be strict. You cannot really, fight for that phone. You just really need to be strict and tell your child that there is only a specific time on using gadgets. And one thing that you can also do is to encourage your child do different activities as well. Like, for example, sports, arts, or probably singing, talking, or playing, some things that doesn't involve gadgets. And of course, you also have to educate them about the negative effects of using their gadgets. It's not good for their eyes. It's not good for their minds. So, you also have to remind them about those things. So somehow they will be mindful about the negative things that could happen if they're into their gadgets too much. So yeah, just like what I've mentioned, always remember to tell them the specific time when they can only use gadgets. Be strict, because as a parent, just talk to your child in a specific manner or in a right manner. Don't shout or yell at him or her. And then at first, of course, you cannot force your child to speak up and have time for you. It goes on a process, little by little. Just wait up until your child is already ready to open up and have time for you. And the next thing is always remind them that you're always there for him or her. That's the greatest thing that you can do in order for them to disregard lots of time using gadgets. So those are some of the things.
Thank you so much, Miss Shalin, for your sharing. And last but not least, a question, short and sweet, for Miss Melisha. So the question is, what do I do if the support that I offer to the children doesn't help? So the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much. I really love the question directed to Dr. Asma. I think that was a brilliant answer, telling about the parenting style. And I totally agree about the contradicting parenting styles here in the Asian countries. Our parent A might be saying something, and then they set a punishment, and then parent B might contradict it. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, if I don't have money, my mom doesn't want to give me, I'm going to go ask my dad. So that happens a lot here. I noticed that as well. It happens in my household. So if I can't get something from my mom, I'll be going to my dad. So back to my question. So what should I do, to provide support if my kid doesn't want help, right? That's the question, right, Ali? I think being there for your child, it's very, very important. Being there, not only like physically, but also like emotionally, like having reassurance, assuring that your child that, mom or dad is here. We are here for you. You can tell us if something is bothering you. You can tell us if, you want to seek help, you want professional help. Let's say, parental present, being there, not only like what I said, not only physically, but emotionally, having that emotional connection with your child, giving them a hug or reminding them that, I love you, like what Char mentioned earlier. I think I love you, hugs, being proud of you, I am here for you are amazing words to say to your child. As a child, those are amazing words. If I were to get that from my parents, I'll be like, oh, I'll be melting, melting from my parents. And ensuring that they actually eat. I think most of the time when your child actually has mental health illnesses or issues, they will try to not do certain things. They will not sleep, or they will sleep all the time, or they are not going to eat, and they will tend to develop other mental health illnesses such as eating disorder, or they binge eat. I think very common in Asian families, we contradict ourselves again. We'll tell our child, please eat more. And then when they gain weight, and they will be like, don't eat so much. They don't see how that would be emotionally hurting for the child. But in such a long run, you'll be like, do I eat or do I not eat? That's why a lot of Asian girls, mainly girls, they have binge eating disorder or even eating disorder. I think that's pretty common. And then seek professional help. Let's say if your child, rejects the help from you, then it's time to seek professional help. Go get a therapist or go to a psychiatrist. Be there in that process, help them. Sometimes they might say that they don't want help. It's because of those imbalance in their imbalance in their chemical in their brains, causing them to say that I don't want you to be around me. But let's all be honest, we always want our parents to be there. We're just saying it because we tend to say things as adults. We as a child, we tend to push our parents away. We say that we don't want them, but actually we want them. We want them to be there. We want them to be proud of us. See, I don't know whether Ellie and Dr. Asma would agree to that, but if I am a parent, I would want to be there for my child. I want to tell my child that, hey, I'm here. Let's seek help. If you don't want my help, it's okay, but I'll be here. If you are ready to talk to me, you talk to me, like what Cha mentioned earlier. Give them time. You can't force them to have that conversation with you when they are not ready. They need to be ready, but also remind them that, let's say, okay, tonight, do you want to talk about it? Maybe we can try to talk about it, but let's say they can't talk about it. Let's do it another day. So at the end of the day, you always, mental health is forever. I believe having mental illnesses is forever, but you can always make it better with therapy, with proper medication, and just try to heal yourself. And like what we always say at Yana, once again, it's okay to not be okay and to seek help. Don't allow your mental illness to define who you are. You're not defined by your mental illness. You can always be an amazing person. Look at Char, look at Dr. Asma. Everyone here is so amazing. We gotta stay amazing. And even though we have mental illnesses or mental health issues, we can still be really good. So back to you, Ellie.
Thank you so much, Miss Charlie. Sorry, Miss Malaysia. I'm so confused now. Okay, so all right, so it's okay. Okay, so actually we have come to the end of our Q&A session. But before I raise my case, before we all raise our case and go for our resting time, so I think maybe I'll give like 1 minute per person to give a short final message to our audiences. So yeah, we can start from Dr. Asma first.
Okay. I really wish that each one of us try to find, each day about like 10 or half an hour, minutes, okay, like 10 to 30 minutes a day just to focus on our mental well-being. Try to find some time to make, just engage in something that make you feel happy and appreciated. Okay, just try to find something, like maybe, like eating something that you like, okay, watching something that you enjoy, or just doing or engage in activities like coloring, writing or whatever, it's just something personal, something that you feel more like at peace with yourself. Try to do that. Okay, that's all, Ellie.
Thank you, Doctor. So next, Miss Malaysia.
Oh, thank you so much, Ellie. Like what I said earlier, it's always okay to cry. It's always okay to feel certain way. It's okay to not be okay. Sometimes as adults, we go through so many different emotions. We get stressed out in work. And I really agree with Dr. Asma. Always have some me time. You can't pour from an empty cup. I like to use this thing where I use an empty bottle to describe us as human beings. When we are empty, every day we fill other people's cup, right? But when you're empty, you're pouring with nothing. You're just going to end up making yourself so tired and sad and upset. So you make sure to have some me time, go spend some time, eat your favorite food. Yes, Malaysian love food. So focus on eating good food, having some me time, and always put yourself in other people's shoes. Sometimes we forget that other people are human too. They might gone through something in their day, and maybe you said something wrong and they started crying, or they get an emotional outbreak. So outburst, so you need to be there for other people around you, especially your friends or family, or even a stranger. You can always tell another stranger, like, have a great day, once you buy something, have a great day, hopefully, you'll be fine. Good luck, those stuff, you can always say to another stranger. So yeah, back to you, Char. Go, Char.
So Miss Charlie, your turn.
Their messages are really great. So I think what I could add is to remind you guys that you are not alone. And as adults that are here inside this forum, even though if you still don't have any kids, I want to remind you guys that the children is a hope of our future. So, encourage every child that we know to bring the best out of them, and, do not discourage them. Always remind them that they're loved and they're safe, and it all starts within us. Positivity, love, and children will definitely foster if we start right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your final words and message to our audiences. So with that, I think it is my pleasure to be here with all these wonderful panels, ladies here. And yeah, now I hope that the audiences can really get the message and maybe can increase their awareness on child mental health issue. So now, without further ado, I will hand over this ceremony back to our MC, Muhammad Hazim Aminuddin, for the closing. Thank you so much, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and our panel, Dr. Asma, Miss Melin, and Miss Charlene Canless, for their willingness to deliver a very interesting and impactful answer tonight. So our program tonight is getting closer to the end. Therefore, our panel, program director, moderators, KMBK UPM's president, and committee members are invited to be ready to open up your camera for our last session tonight, which is a photo session. So I hope that everyone is camera ready. So seems like everyone is ready. So, okay, on 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. All right, thank you everyone. So with the end of the photo session, our program has come to an end. Many
Mr.
thanks
MC,
to our, sorry?
I'm so sorry for stopping you. Can I ask for a favor? Can we have, so here at Yana, we always do an okay sign. Can we take a picture with an okay sign? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, so it's okay, no problem, miss. All right, Tanika, ready? All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. All right. Many thanks to our 3 panels, committee members, and our viewers tonight who has been with us until the end of the program. Dear participants, all of you can scan the QR code that will be displayed by us. Participants can also find the Google evaluation form link in the comments space for the purpose of granting merit and distribution of e-certificates. Please note that these links are only open for 15 minutes. It is also hopeful that you will be able to fill in the Google assessment form exactly as requested, because if there are any errors, it will affect your e-certificate. So I am here to represent the organizers of the program. Would like to thank everyone who has involved in making this program a success today. Finally, before I end this program, I would like to call on everyone to continue to pray for the prosperity of our country and the people around us who are facing various challenges at this time, inshallah. So, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Iisa ang pinanggalingan, puso ng pelas ng silangan. Walang katulad na pag-alaga, walang katulad na pag-aruga. Taos pusong malasakit, walang inaasahang kapalit. Ang pusong Pilipinas, may gandang walang kumpas. Pusong Pilipino, nanginginig sa
mabuhay.
Buong mundo may mapuntahan, may hindi mapapalitan. Iisa ang pinanggalingan, puso ng perlas ng silang.